Yo, what's good, day traders? This is your boy Jay Devar bringing y'all another upload this week. And basically, y'all, in this video, I'm actually going to be doing another prop firm review. I did one 3 weeks ago, and I see that one's doing pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and roll out another one. The one we're going to be reviewing today is called TradeDay. I actually came across this prop firm listening to a podcast. I don't know if you guys listen to Austin Silver on the ASFX podcast YouTube channel, but he had one of his traders on there that's been trading with his group for a while, and he basically mentioned this prop firm right here, and in the interview he basically gave his reasons why he loves this prop firm and why he prefers it over some of the others. But yeah, I'm just gonna be going over this with y'all, reviewing it and seeing like if I would personally um do business with this prop firm, which after looking over their site for a little bit, I probably would, especially with some of the features that I'm gonna outline and some of the options that they have outlined and with their business model. So with that being said, feel free to like the video. Also leave a comment down below if this is already a prop firm that you've heard of, and if you already are trading it, just let me know how you like it, you know what I mean? And also don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, so appreciate that, y'all, and let's go ahead and hop into this review. So TradeDay, we fund futures traders, right? Quote unquote the best payout policy. We'll see about that. I will say one thing that I do like about this firm after like looking over the site for a little bit. They have day one payouts, right? So not just day one payouts, but daily payouts, right? And that's something that's really attractive to me. I'm not gonna lie to you, because most of the other firms you have to trade for at least probably 5. Some firms is 5, others is 10, but you have to trade for at least 10 trading days, and they also have to be profitable and also have to be within a consistency rule, right? In this case, with this firm right here, they have a consistency rule, but it's during the funded phase. Once you get funded, the consistency rule gets removed, right? And then from there you have daily payout options, right? So that's kind of one of the really many attractive features that I saw and also heard about in that podcast that I told you guys about earlier in the video. But these are the CEOs right here. I guess they started this back in 2020. I'm assuming they have years, probably decades of trading experience, probably managing a floor and everything of the sort. But also too, right here real quick, they're offering multiple accounts, and also too right now they have 40% off, and then they're waiving the activation fee for whatever account that you use the discount code for. So even more of an incentive to probably do business with this firm. But so yeah, 40% off and then no activation fees, right? So that sounds good. Here they go. They're doing their comparisons, this is their marketing, everything of the sort. Up to 95% profit share. That sounds nice. They also have one-to-one coaching. I'm not sure how you utilize that. Maybe you can utilize that once you get funded. Maybe that's something that you get access to then. But yeah, we're just gonna move on. Have a path to funding. Keep 80% of your profits from day one with the potential to reach 95%. I wonder what the requirements are for that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hop into what everybody want to know: the pricing. Right. So as you see right here, there's no consistency when funded. No consistency required to request a payout when you're funded. So if you make $700 the first day, is basically all eligible on the table from day one. Right. You can take it all day one or leave it in there. Because I also don't think they have a buffer either. I didn't see anything that said they have a buffer. But like I said, if you've used this firm before, please let me know in the comments. You know what I mean? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below if this is a firm that you already use. So day one payouts get paid on day one of your funded account. To keep up to 95%, keep 80% of your profits from day one, potential 95%. Just went over that. They have accounts from $59. That's pretty affordable. All right, so right here, and again, there's the discount code for the % off and activation fee with the code no fee 40. And then right here, you can filter to find the perfect account for you. So they have account sizes from 50 to 150K. I'm assuming based off of the account size, that varies your drawdown also. So I see a max drawdown of 6,000, profit target of excuse me, profit target of 9,000 to 1,000 to 9,000, and the monthly price can range between $50 to $300 a month. Right. So I do see they have different type of drawdown types. So they have the intraday. Personally, I don't like intraday drawdown rules. I think they're kind of stupid. You know, if I'm already in profit, don't penalize me for being in profit. If a trade, falls back a bit, don't penalize me for that. I think that's a bit, insane. But, you know, uh, they affirm their rules. End of day, I prefer end of day drawdown. That way, because with end of day, your drawdown is calculated at the end of the day. It's not intraday where like it's trailing the highest profit. So say you have a trade for intraday. Say you have a trade that goes to $2,000 and then it drops back to $500. You're gonna get penalized for that $1,500 loss, right? So because the day's not over yet. It's trailing during the day, so you're gonna be penalized for that $1,500 that you that position gave back. Although you're still in profit technically, but with the intraday rule, it's yeah. Then we have end of day drawdown. I hope they're doing yard work out there. I hope y'all can't hear that shit. But end of day drawdown, I prefer this because the drawdown is calculated at the end of the day. So same example. If you make $2,000, if your highest profit is in $2,000, but then it falls back to say $500, at the end of the day, it's only gonna calculate the $500, right? So you're not gonna be penalized for the $1,500 that quote unquote gave back to the market, right? And then we have the good old static. So the drawdown doesn't move at all. Static is cool, but end of the day is also not that bad either. So but intraday, I sort of stay away from intraday because it really don't fit my style. I think if you're mostly a scalper, like a short term, like a really short, like a 5 minute, 1 minute scalper, maybe intraday may appeal to you. But I like to hold my trades for a little bit, for like a couple hours or so. Most of the time I enter in Asia and just hold through London and going into New York, right? So intraday wouldn't be ideal for me. End of day and static is more ideal for me. But if you're a scalper, feel free with the intraday rules. Two of the platforms they have TradeDay X. I'm assuming that's their own personal platform through the website, and they probably have their own application for it, but I won't be using that. I'm gonna stick with TradeDay because TradeDay allows direct trading through TradingView, and I do all my charting and stuff through TradingView. So it's nice to have the convenience of everywhere where just having everything in one place. Like I do all my trading and charting all in one place. So I'm gonna stick with TradeDay. They also have NinjaTrader. I know a lot of people like to use NinjaTrader for certain to do their trading and everything. But me, I'm gonna stick with TradeDay because they can integrate with TradingView, right? So me personally, we're gonna go ahead and set up an account, NinjaTrader. End of day. Let's see what the 50K looks like. So for $99, I'm assuming this is with the 40% off. Yeah, this is with the 40% off. So for the $99 right here, we can get a 50K account, profit target of 3,000, which isn't that bad. That's not a lot, honestly. And then a drawdown of 2,000. That's really not bad for $99 a month. Especially like remember the consistency rule is 7 days. The consistency rule for here, not consistency rule, but the minimum trading days. You have to trade for at least 7 days, and they all have to be profitable. And they all have to they all have to be consistent with one another. So you can't just hit 2,000 one day and then 1,000 or 500 the next day. It's got to be within that 30% of the 2,000. So you probably have to make about like 500 or so, $400 to $500. In the next couple trades you take over the 7 days. So that's something to be mindful of as you're trading. We're allowed up to 50 mini, not 50 minis, 5 minis of 50 micros, depending on if you trade minis or micros. I do both, just depending on the drawdown that I'm working with. Most likely I'm gonna use the micros because the drawdown is only $2,000, right? So you can make money with micros, right? It's nothing to it because you get 50 of them. So, yeah. As you can see, the intraday is a lot cheaper, right? But that's because it's calculated intraday, so you're more likely to fail with this account. So I'm not, well, by my standards, by my trading style, I'm more likely to fail this account, right? Because the intraday drawdown rule. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of that. So If I did do an account like this, I would probably have to go with the end of day, right? I pay a little bit more, but at least I'm paying to, work within my trading parameters that I like, right? So if it is what it is, because after 7 days, if I get funded, there we go. We can get payouts from day one, and that basically just takes care of that. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Then there's the static option. The static option, huh? Okay, so the static option right here is $90 a month, $1,500 profit target. Amazing, fantastic for 50K. However, that drawdown, $500 a drawdown. Ooh boy, that's pretty low, right? That's pretty low. Then you're only allowed to trade one mini contract or 10 micros. I mean, it's doable. However, it's just going into the funded phase. I don't like I'm not sure if the drawdown is going to change or anything, but just based off of this right here, $500 in drawdown, that's not really appealing. For the 100K, not too much really either. The profit target is only like 2.5%, but the drawdown is like 3/4%. Not really too ecstatic or excited about that, but if I went and did business with this firm, I would probably do the end of the day drawdown, right? I mean, it is a higher profit target, but however, you get more drawdown to work with, and actually, so when you do, if you do encounter those situations where you have a couple days of losing, you still have a good amount of drawdown to work with. So me personally, I would do the end of the day, just based off of my trading. Like I said, if you're a scalper, this may appeal to you. With the intraday evaluation, if you're a scalper. I just know me personally how I trade. I probably wouldn't go through with it. Let's see. How it works. Let's see. Let's see what they have here. So make money, trade until you reach the profit target. You got to trade for, like I said earlier, you got to trade for a minimum of 7 days. And they all have to be, I want to say they all have to be within 30. There's a 30% rule, consistency rule in the challenge phase, but it goes away once you get funded. But so it says there's no upper time limit, but we need to see at least 7 days worth of trading data in order to complete this objective. These days do not need to be consecutive, so they don't have to be consecutive as far as like day one, day two, right? But as far as like being profitable, the days do have to be profitable, right? So they don't have to be profitable as far as like 500 one day to 500 the next. It could be 500 one day, you may not trade the next day, and then you trade and make another $500 on the third day. That counts as 2 trading days, right? Because you actually took trades those days. So it doesn't have to be consecutive in that instance, but it has to be consecutive as far as like you make money on these days, or at least if you do make money, it has to be within that consistency rule, right? So yeah, and right here, traders finishing the profit target and the consistency objectives before completing 7 days are required to continue to trade in the style they have been. No sitting in a funding zone, scratching one lot micros. I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty of this myself. I've done it with several futures firms, in particular. So I'm guilty of that. So basically, they ain't having none of that, right? So it is what it is. Like I said, their firm, their rules. A note on completing the challenge early. If you complete the profit target and consistency days objectives before the end of the 7-day period, please continue to trade the way you have been trading so we can get an understanding of your performance over the entire 7-day period, right? So if you finish the challenge before the 7 days and sit in the funding zone scalping one lot micros waiting to pass, we may extend the evaluation period beyond 7 days. So if you're trying to one contract scalp, just trying to say you make $200 there, blah blah blah, $100 there. They basically like, all right, we see you ain't trading the same way that you trading, so from 7 days going from 7 days to probably 10 or 15, whatever they see fit, right? So you want to see 7 days of trading data, not 4 or 5, as much as require all 7 days of trading to be similar to each other. All right, so I mean that's pretty fair. That's a pretty fair rule. They don't want people just like shooting for the moon and then passing it in one day and they just scalp their way, and then they just scalp their way to funding. So I mean that's fair. That's a fair rule. There's nothing wrong with that. All right. So yeah, there's that. The consistency rule, right? Let's hop into that. The consistency rule: no single day's profit should exceed 30% of the profit target. If you have a profitable day in excess of 30% of your profit target, you do not fail the evaluation, but your profit target does increase. There's no consistency objective for funded traders, so this is really the only hurdle you got to get through. You just got to show that you're being consistent. Show that your trading strategy is consistent. It can make consistent returns over time and everything of the sort. So that's all they want to see during the challenge phase, right? So let's see. They also have an example of an inconsistent day. Profit for the day / total profit, or divided by total profit made so far on the evaluation. So say, I'm assuming this says, say you make $750 and then the next day you make $1,800. Oh no, so you make $750 today, but however your total profit is $1,800. You divide that, it's 41%. That's gonna show as an inconsistent, right? So so by that standard, you're not following the consistency rule. So let's see. They also have a calculation for how much you should make in any one day during the evaluation. So it says take your profit target and multiply by 30%. For example, the profit target is $3,000 times 30% equals $900. So if you want to be within the consistency rule of 30%, it's best not to make more than $900 on any position that you take. So that is something to keep in mind if you want to follow the consistency rule and get funded with this firm. Pretty fair rules. Nothing of the sort. Oh, there's an example with the new profit target. So the profit target increasing if you have way more profitable days. Let's see. For new profit target, so next day's profit 30%, total profits need to pass the evaluation. So in that $900 example, say you make $925. Well, that goes above the 30% of the $3,000 worth of drawdown. So then the new drawdown, times 30% or divided by 30%, it's basically going to increase your profit target by $83. So just keep that in mind. Just have consistent winners. Basically, just show consistent returns and consistent winners, kind of like all around each other. Not like big profit days like $2,000 and then $300 the next day, or $200 the next day, and then another $3,000 the following day. They don't want to see that. They don't want to see swings like that. Which is fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. And like I said, they don't want to bring on quote unquote gamblers, to their firm. So that's fair. I like that. That's something I can work with. As you see here, day trade only. Also too, they did have something that of course you got to close it before the market closes every day. Close all positions. But also too, they don't want you to hold positions during certain market data releases. I have that right here. It says they don't fail you for breaching these accounts, but they will close your trades if you have positions open during certain economic news releases. It was mainly FOMC, I believe. Let's see. Let me click it again. I want to say it was mainly during FOMC where they were like, yeah, nah, listen, no trading during these events. I can't find it right now. I don't want to waste too much time trying to find it, but they have. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna click that. Okay, so here it is. All right, so these are the economic news releases they don't want you to be holding trades through or trading through. It says 10 minutes before. They said 10 minutes before these. Oh, it says they will auto liquidate all open positions 2 minutes before these news releases, right? So FOMC, CPI, damn, that's crazy. CPI, NFP, crude oil, that applies only to oil contracts only. So these are the economic news releases that they don't want you holding trades through. You can trade after the releases come out, but anything before. They don't want you holding trades to them, you know, which I mean, I guess that's fair. You know, they don't, like I said, they don't want you trying to just go for these large profit swings, right? So they don't want gamblers, right? So I mean, I guess that's a fair rule. I kind of would have to work around this for days with CPI, because like I said, me personally, I enter in Asian session and I usually hold my trades. I usually hold my trades up into New York, depending on if they're in profit or not. So, um, and I usually am waking up and managing my trade if I enter at like 9 p.m. or something. I usually wake up at like 1 or 2 and I look at my position, see how it's going, you know. So that's just something I have to keep in mind if I did decide to go through with this firm. But honestly, everything just seems pretty fair in my opinion. They do resets. If you break a rule, the evaluation is over. But don't worry, you can immediately start again by purchasing a reset for $99. So if you fail the account, if you have $100 on you, you can basically just reset it. You know. Um. Oh, it says, or you can wait till your subscription payment renews, and then it'll be reset for free if you did end up failing the account. All right, well that's cool. All right, but yeah, so it just seems like, you know, you just got to get through the challenge phase, and once you get through that challenge phase, the consistency rule just goes away entirely, and you can just start taking payouts from day one. You know, so if you get funded, with those 7 trading days, you get funded. I mean, you know, you can basically just make money from there on out, take payouts from day one or getting funded. So it seems like a fair trade-off in my opinion. This is a firm that I would do business with. I might actually consider getting an account with them, but however, I am trading with Elite Trader Funding. So that's the firm that I've been trading with for like the past year or so. If they were talking about doing day one payouts, and if that's something that they did, I probably would just stick with them. However, as of right now, I think this is one of the only few firms, to my knowledge, that does the day one payouts or the daily payouts, right? I think maybe Apex does it, but I don't know. I'm not really too sold on Apex's trading parameters, you know. But that being said, if you guys stayed to watch this video, I do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and like I said earlier, feel free to comment down below anything if you already knew about this firm or anything that I didn't go over. Feel free to share it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, this is y'all boy Jay Davari. I'll check y'all out in the next one. Peace out.